I have to ask you first about last year. You had come in and earned playing time. In fact, you were starting when Fred wasn't healthy, and it had to be maybe the most frustrating year of your life to suddenly go down and have to sit and watch the rest of the season.
Yeah, it was definitely not how I saw things going. It was pretty tough, a lot of the toughest, months, days, weeks of my life, but I think it was a blessing in disguise. I'll live with that. I don't really regret, not being able to come back or anything. I learned a ton from, sitting and watching Ron and Fred and Evan and, just how they approached everything day to day. So I think, I definitely gained, a lot more from it than maybe the common person would expect.
And another good decision down the stretch. The temptation is there to play at the end of last year when you're just about, not quite, but just about ready to go. But thank goodness you saved that year, and now you're just a freshman eligibility-wise.
Right, yeah. Sometimes it's hard to remind myself I'm a freshman. It doesn't sound quite right, but yeah. It would have been, that was a really special group, really special team last year. Definitely huge reason why I came here in the first place, to play with, that group of guys. But yeah, being a freshman, I still got this year and 3 more, so time's on my side and continue to grow and get better.
You started off the game really well, and sometimes a good player like yourself just knows that this is going to be their day, knows that they're in the rhythm. And talk a little bit about when you get that sense of it, and then when you just really take off today.
I think with me, I just, my biggest thing is I just try to stay even keel, no matter, what's going on. So, against Tulsa when I'm 0 for 5, I try to keep my energy the same, and then here tonight, if everything's falling, try to stay the same. So, it's a confidence thing. I know I'm a shooter. I go 0 for 5 one game doesn't mean I'm just going to shy away from shooting them. So the first one fell and stayed with it, had the confidence, and
off to the races.
They kept falling. So,
Landry, I've complimented you several times because I watched you last year and how much you paid attention, even though you knew you weren't going to play, and were really intent on learning as much as you could. But Coach Marshall said that there's a difference between learning that way and being on the court. And so has there been maybe just a little bit of a rust factor this year getting back into game situations?
I would say no. Personally, as far as a comfort standpoint goes, I don't feel as if, I feel like I picked up kind of right where I left off. But, I am still learning. I'm not sitting here saying, I know everything. And, so I am a freshman, still learning. But, yeah, I don't think there's really a whole lot of rust.
I was going to ask you also, everybody felt like, including the coaching staff most importantly, that you came in with some of the same kind of maturity, understanding of the game and so forth that had typified Fred and Ron, the 2 guys that you're trying to emulate. And do you see that in Austin Reeves as well? And do you see in the 2 of you a couple of guys kind of similar to Fred and Ron in the way they played the game?
I could, yeah. I could see that and definitely support it. I love Austin. I love his game, love him as a person, as a teammate. He is very mature on the court. Real, kind of really quiet at first when he first got here, but he's definitely opened up now and, talks a lot. So, yeah, very mature, pays attention, asks all the right questions, a lot of questions, always asking questions. So that's something that you definitely like, and I look forward to, him being my teammate for the next however long.
Coach Marshall and the coaching staff do a great job of recruiting. We've talked about this before. They recruit character as much as they recruit athletes. And that's probably why a lot of you get along as well as you get along.
Absolutely. And just, it's hard not to get along with guys when, you're grinding with them every day and you're all going through the same thing and have the same goals and, mindset as one another. So, it's really easy to, they're all relatable guys. I love them all like family. That's what we are. And, yeah, it translated over to the basketball court also.
Isn't it nice to be part of a team also that you have a realistic possibility of always going to the NCAA tournament?
Right, yeah. You try not to think of it like that. We still want to work and don't think we're guaranteed anything at all, because at the end of the day we're not. You see it, like last year, that team as good as we were, still a lot of question marks at the end of the year. It scared a lot of people. So, Yeah, just trying to get better every day. Like I said, it's you got the same mindset as one another and continue to grow.
One last question. Obviously, in all due respect to the teams you've played, you've met each challenge and really excelled against the 4 opponents so far. But at some point next week, there's going to be a step up in the level of competition. You think everybody kind of anxious to test that out and see where you are?
Yeah, we all know it. We've seen it coming. That's been our goal for since the start of the season, saying let's be 4-0 headed to the Bahamas. Let's 4-0 going to the beach. So that's where we are right now, and we definitely know we've got teams with really good athletes and really good scorers and players like LSU, Louisville, Michigan State. Everyone in that tournament can play. So it'll be good and interesting.
Coaches say, well, we take them one game at a time and we don't look ahead.
Right.
But surely you've peaked just a little bit to see what LSU is all about and maybe even Louisville is all about.
You peak, you peak, but you try not to. Today was all about Maryland Eastern Shore. This week, we in practice we've been doing a little bit of stuff that Louisville might do, stuff that Michigan State might do, stuff that LSU is going to do. So kind of just because you're playing 3 games in 3 days, you got to prepare beforehand. So yeah, just you peak and you try to be prepared. I guess that'd be the best way to put it. You're not looking forward or looking ahead or looking past anybody, but just as far as being prepared goes, that's all that is.
Well, this opportunity for us took way longer than we thought it would when you first got here. It's great to have you playing again, and congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Landry Shamet, our star of the game, and the Shockers winning it today over Maryland Eastern Shore, 116-79.